Welcome to the Accomplish More podcast, created specifically for the small business owner who doesn't think small. I'm your host, Gayla Scrivener. This show is where you'll learn practical ideas, hints, tips, and tricks to help you grow your small business where you can leverage your time and to accomplish more. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Accomplish More podcast. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'm Gayla Scrivener, your host, and I have to tell you, I am super excited that registration for the Accomplish More Academy is now open. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to get it up and going, and it's pretty exciting for me. The Accomplish More Academy is primarily geared toward the solopreneur or micro business owners who desire to understand and just put together all the pieces when it comes to becoming more efficient in marketing and running their businesses. It's geared to those who feel a little intimidated with all the tech tools out there and feel a little out of sorts and overwhelmed with where to start and with what things to start with like websites and social media and how to keep track of customers. In the Accomplish More Academy, we get down to the nitty-gritty and I show you how to use some of the most popular tools to increase your efficiency, and most importantly, you gain the confidence to manage those tasks when you're ready to delegate. Over and over again, I work with small business owners who feel held back by their fear of technology or fear of computers. They are willing to try, but don't really have anywhere to learn the basics. Let's take, for example, marketing our business. One of the biggest and most wonderful things about being a solopreneur or owning a small business is you have a personal relationship with your clients. There's really no layers in it. It's a wonderful feeling to just help people. It feels like you're helping a friend, and we want to make sure that we do a great job for them. We all in our business must be marketers. Like it or not, we must market our business, no matter what we do to serve our customers. Whether you're a business coach, maybe a health coach, maybe you sell homemade soap, or you repair stuff, you have to get the word out of what you're doing and how you serve people. So, announcing it is your first step. But you must do more than just that. You must establish credibility and a following. And how do you do that? In the most simplistic terms, the three most important things that you really need to make a long-term difference in your marketing strategy is first, your website. Not just build a website and leave it alone. No, but a plan on adding consistent content to your site. This can be writing, it can be audio or video. A website is never meant to be static. You will attract folks who want to hear your message and value what you do. With that, you begin to build rapport. People feel like they know you, even if they've never met you in person. People will want to connect more and more with you. When you offer something, the selling part becomes easier. It's a matter of helping folks, and they show their appreciation through currency. I believe that getting started with content marketing, and that's the act of providing valuable content out in the marketplace to attract your perfect client, is the very best way to go. Yes, it does take work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I think getting started with your routine is the hardest part because there's always an excuse. Maybe the excuse would be that you don't feel like an expert yet, so you put it off. Maybe the excuse is that you're too busy. Maybe the excuse is that you don't know what to write. Maybe it's because there's already so many people out there in the marketplace doing what you do, so the information you have to offer isn't really new and innovative, and that holds you back. You have to just get over those excuses and begin creating content in a consistent and relevant basis on your website. You don't have to let the act of producing content be hard. I think the hardest part is just getting started and getting over yourself that you are an expert, that you do have time, you can find time to do it, and that even though there's so many out there in the marketplace that may be doing exactly what you're doing, there's only one you, and people connect with you. Now, I don't like to say I have regrets. I want to live life without regrets at all. And for the most part, I don't have any regrets. But one of the biggest things that I could consider a regret, but I like to think of it as a very good lesson, is early on when considering to start my very own business, I read over and over, and mind you, I read it in different places, that to grow your business, you need to write. The advice I was receiving from all over the place is to build a platform on your website using your blog to express your thoughts and to show your expertise. When you write or produce content in any fashion, like through video, articles, or podcasts, you position yourself as an expert in your field. You gain credibility. Back when I started my business, the focus really was just blog posting back then. And I thought to myself, well, I can't write. And at first, I discounted blogging altogether. What I really should have been doing was making a little online ripple with blogging efforts before I even left my corporate job. But back then, I had this really crazy guilt. The guilt that I'm somehow cheating my employer if I'm doing something for myself on the side. And that was just crazy thinking, and I know better now. But nonetheless, it was my mindset back then. When Scrivener Solutions started, I truly had more time than clients. So why didn't I cultivate my blog? Why didn't I start to write? Because I convinced myself that I couldn't write. Now, over time, as I communicated with more and more small business owners, usually through face-to-face networking, I found myself wanting to express my ideas and help more and more people. With the people I met in person, I could help and inspire them in some way to motivate them to create consistency and systems to help grow their businesses, whether they hired Scrivener Solutions or not. That's what got me blogging. I started out writing articles. I believe that we have to practice by doing, and then things just get easier. And so a process for me was born. Now, nowadays, back then it was mainly writing articles, but blogging can take different forms. It can be writing an article, but it can also be video. It can also be audio, like a podcast. Inspiring, teaching, motivating, or entertaining is the mission of your blog. It helps people understand who you are and what you stand for, making them more comfortable in working with you if they choose. So after a website, the second most important thing that you need to be doing is social media. And you need to be in social media and be consistent with it. Social media is where you broadcast your message. You broadcast what you've just published on your website. People need to know where to go for the information. And where to go? Your website. That is your online home. That is your online real estate. You broadcast ideas and motivation that also paint a picture of who you are and what you stand for. At the very, very, very minimum, you should be producing consistent posts. As you do it, you will figure out how best to communicate with your audience. Like with blogging, sometimes the hardest part is just getting started and staying consistent. But don't make it harder than it should be. Don't think that you should be on every single platform there is. Just pick one. Work with it for a while. Create a system. But if you have no clue where to start, I suggest Facebook. It's the largest platform. It's kind of a no-brainer. Just start with that. And I believe that every business should have a business Facebook page anyway. As you get a routine down, then add another social platform. Experiment with it, but don't drop the one that you already have a routine on. You are layering in another channel where you can reach more people or reach the same people but in a different avenue. But don't get too crazy and be involved in too many platforms once you get your system. Pick a few and stick with them. Even if you aren't really into social media, your business should be. It's a huge, let me tell you again, a huge opportunity for connecting for the small business owner. Take advantage of that opportunity. There are ways to schedule posts so that you're not tied down to being in your social media account every single day. You don't have to be in your social account every minute of every day to be present and engaged on social. But you do need a strategy in this area. So after website and social media, the third basic piece that all businesses should be using is email. Yes, email marketing is very much a useful tool to stay connected. It's more personal than social because your message goes right into the recipient's inbox. Does everyone read your messages? Well, no, but that's okay. Do you read every single email message you receive? I bet the answer would be no, if you are truly honest. But do you receive emails from individuals that you like to hear from, whether you can carefully read every word or not? Well, yes. You follow them for a reason. You follow them because they provide value to you. With your emails, you can do the same thing. You are providing value to the recipient. Now, one thing I really don't believe in is buying an email list. It just goes against my grain. When you buy an email list, it is so impersonal, and that's why it goes against my grain. You are trying to connect with people that have absolutely no clue who you are. How personal is that? Don't invade their space that way. And then you start sending out weekly or monthly messages in an email like your best friends. The results are usually terrible. Every person I've had experience with who were really gun-ho about investing in a purchase of an email list were sorely disappointed with the results. The place to start is by simply asking people if they'd like to be on your email list, and then let them know a little bit about what to expect. Well, for example, one of the lists that I'm on is I like to be on our local leather and bead store list. Their monthly email mainly consists of a schedule of upcoming classes, and they captured my email simply by asking me. Another way is to have what is called a lead magnet on your website. Some sort of like checklist or guide. Maybe it's a lesson or some sort of inspiration, or it could be a video. Something to give away in exchange for an email address. On my website, scrivenersolutions.com, I have a free checklist of 50 things that you could delegate to a virtual assistant. And if you really are looking to hire a VA, maybe you'd want to grab my free copy of my ebook talking about the 5 things you should know before hiring a VA. When someone is willing to give up their email because you provided them with information they need, they are more likely to want to hear from you again. They want to hear more of what you have to say. They may not need your services that very moment, and maybe they'll never need or want your services, but you have helped them in some way, and they are more likely to refer you. But what if someone unsubscribes? Sure, now that may hurt your feelings a little bit. It does sting, I have to admit. But think of it this way. They unsubscribed because your message doesn't apply to that person any longer. Your email list, if nurtured properly, consists of the folks who truly are interested in who you are and your messages. They believe in you and what you stand for. The people that are on your list, they still want to hear from you. Be proud and supportive of the unsubscriber because they need to follow and receive messages that truly benefit them. We're all different. We don't resonate with everyone, and we're in different stages of our life. So, what resonated with us the first year we were in business may not resonate with us at year 5 or maybe year 10 because we've evolved. Your website, your social media presence, and your emails are the 3 fundamental tools you should be using on a consistent basis to market and grow your business. These tools are a part of content marketing. Like I said before, content marketing allows people to get to know you, and that is so important. Don't expect with one blog post or one social media post or just one email that everyone would be clamoring to buy what you have to offer. What it takes are all 3 on a consistent basis, and it builds a relationship to expand your reach and influence far beyond the face-to-face interactions that you have. You see, face-to-face networking is good. In fact, it's great. Seeing someone eyeball to eyeball is by far the best way to connect with someone. But you have to scale your communication. There isn't enough time in the day to stay in contact with everyone eyeball to eyeball. You need to scale in a consistent, engaging, and valuable manner. You need to stay in touch with those you've just met. You stay in contact with people who reach out to you for help. Building a relationship takes effort. It takes consistency to help build that trust. When you don't actually see folks for a length of time, you have to do something to stay in touch with them. And that's where blogging or video or podcasts come into play. Then broadcasting that stuff that's on your website onto social and then through emails. All three, websites, social media, and emails, you can do yourself. In fact, a lot of small business owners want to do it themselves, either out of necessity because they aren't ready to delegate, or because they love it, or because they really want to learn more about their customers and how their messaging should be so that they can attract their ideal client. At first, I did it all myself for my own business, but then I found myself getting too busy to keep up with it all. I began to delegate pieces that I was comfortable with. One of the first things that I delegated personally for Scrivener Solutions were my consistent social media posts. I wanted to concentrate on the content of my website and my emails, and my client load was getting bigger, so I also needed to work on that. I still needed to keep consistent in the social media platforms, but honestly, I was getting in my own way. I was taking way too long, at least in my mind, for planning and producing my own posts. Now, it doesn't take me very long for a client's posts, But for my own post, I got distracted with the news feed, and before I knew it, I was spending way too much time in the social media, and I felt unproductive. It was time to delegate my process to Sharon. Now we talk all the time. She knows the messages and the resources that I want to relay. She became my voice. I am able to engage instead of worrying about coming up with an image to go on a social media post. In fact, if I'm engrossed in projects and can't make it to look at social media for, I don't know, for several days, I know that I'm still present on my chosen social platforms. I also have pieces of posting new content to my website delegated out. I want to do all the writing, but there is no reason whatsoever why I should be spending time formatting and scheduling my own posts. As virtual assistants, my team and I do all of that all the time for our clients. I work on updating clients' websites because I know how to do it and I'm good at it. But when it comes to my own website, I don't necessarily need to format my own blog posts, even though I'm good at it. I need to delegate it because for me, what I need to do for my business is to concentrate on the content, not the formatting of it. Some of our clients struggle with working on their own website. They get the gist of what needs to be done, or maybe have done it themselves for a while, but they quickly delegate it because they know their time is better spent elsewhere. Now, emails are very similar. I have guidelines on the structure. I want to design the template myself, but then I delegate the actual doing part of it, of getting the content that I've written into the email and then scheduled. We as virtual assistants help our clients do that all the time. And actually, I'd rather work on my clients' projects than marketing my own business. You know, that's why I delegate parts of the project out from my business to get it done because I know how important the consistency is. If I were left to do it all myself, it wouldn't get done. Therefore, I wouldn't see results. All right, I'm going to wrap up this episode and I'm going to ask you, are you consistent in providing great content in all three platforms? Your website, social media, and email? If so, great. Congratulations. I love it. But are you struggling in staying consistent in any of the three? Then it may be time to delegate pieces of the project. But maybe, are you a person that your head is swimming with all this talk about websites, social media, and emails? Oh my. Well, you're not alone. If it overwhelms you and you don't quite get how they all fit together, some people don't know where to start. And maybe you're unsure of the how-to of it all. What buttons to push? How do you load a picture? How do you post a blog? Where do you get started on even getting a website? You want to understand how your website, your social media, and emails work and work together. Even do it yourself for a while without taking up a ton of time. Well, then you're most likely a great fit for the Accomplish More Academy. I encourage you to go over to accomplishmoreacademy.com to register today. Our first coaching call is just around the corner. It's August 8th. When you sign up, you'll immediately get access to my Facebook Basics workshop and all the things that you need to get started. Now, I understand that computers may not be your thing. Don't let that hold you back. I'll help you all along the way. You'll learn the basics without feeling like an amateur. Connect with fellow business owners and gain the confidence to kick your tech fear and get that behind you and manage and grow your business to reach new heights. Now, if that's you, I do hope you hop over to accomplishmoreacademy.com and register. If you're still unsure and want to learn more, well, simply email me and schedule a chat. I'd love to hear from you. Email me at podcast@scrivenersolutions.com. That's podcast@SCRIVENER solutions.com. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, have a fantastic week.